When I picked a place to live after I lost my townhouse by choice, I just felt that the price per month was getting too high for my practice of my business where it was at that moment of time. And it was very heartbreaking because I loved where I lived in the Arts and Design District for the many years that I had been there, almost 10, I believe. And openly I appreciated and valued my landlord and how easy it was to handle that negotiation each year. It just became a gentleman's agreement. He'd call and say, hey, I need a little more dough today. Like, okay, this is what I can handle. But the reality is it didn't end well. He wasn't very kind at the very onset of me leaving. I felt bad about this because I had been pretty loyal to that space. I had kept it as clean as we could possibly do by we having a shoes off rule at the front door where we put our shoes in shoe boxes like they do in Japan, and we would be in slippers or sock feet to keep things super clean. But the reality is what I'm talking about is insignificant to you, but it's how people live today. And when I talk about these things, I have to say that even my students knew the rules. They knew the rules of that situation, of that classroom, of my life. That they were allowed on the main floor and never upstairs with my offices or my green screen studio or the other aspects of living there. They didn't actually know I lived there. We didn't make a big fuss about it. We didn't state a lot about it, but it did have a garage and it allowed me to put my car within during winter. What I don't like is when people think they have the right to state that they're me. You see, that's a form of fraud. And if you're getting into my channels on your Wi-Fi networks at your work or through public networks that you seem to pass through, then you're committing identity theft. You're committing fraud. You're committing some of the worst attacks in the world. Nobody needs your little child who's 15 or 16 underage taking your whole family into a lawsuit, or worse, taking them to jail for the felonies they're committing of deleting personal photos, intellectual property, which is a creation that people like me get paid for, and you can't use it. Because if you're found to have used any of it, you're going to be off in jail for the theft of art. Most of us know those stories from the films that are out there in the world, in which we have seen these petty thieves trying to go for something bigger. And openly, they always get caught. So what I have to say to you is stop playing at your life. Start listening to God about what is and isn't right. You see, what is right is always something that's done in love, kindness, and regard. What isn't right is something that's done in selfishness, greed, vanity, vandalism, or violence. Some sort of viperness in which you're bitter or you're rude or you don't understand that rudeness doesn't count today. Politeness still counts today. No matter how ragingly angry I can be about the petty thefts that I'm experiencing as an impoverished person, someone who's living in poverty. Now, I'm sleeping outside, but you fuckers think you have the right to put your hands inside my pockets when I'm sleeping, or God forbid worse, down my pants as a molester under the law, and into my backpacks where I have personal things for me that I've acquired, very few, because it's hard to carry it for me, or for the people that I love. And you're stealing from me. You're stealing from children Christmas gifts that I set aside for them. And openly, you're robbing me of my rights to talk to them. So if that was happening to you, how would you feel?